Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the different muscles that. So we'll be talking about the main muscles involved in your body, like for example, in your arms, your legs, and in your body trunk. So we'll be talking through the main muscles. And then we will specifically focus on the next video. We'll be talking about the gait cycle, and then we'll be talking more about certain muscles that Albert will be mentioning today. But for Hubs 191, these are the muscles you guys need to know about. So this is concentric contraction muscles. So relative to for muscles, right? So we'll talk. This is about joints. So this applies to all joints. So anterior means, and then we've got posterior. Right, we've got this is abduction. This is adduction and adduction. There we go. So this is what it means. Anterior means it's flex. Joint is in flexion. Posterior means the joint is in extension. Adduction and abduction. Adduction means that the movement is lateral, and abduction is medial movement. Right. So all this applies to all joints except your knee, or it's your knee joint, right? Because so for example, if you hold up your elbow is a joint. That is not a knee joint, obviously. If you're flexing your arm, flexion, the arm is going up anteriorly, right? And if you're going from a flex position down to relaxed, that's extension, and it's going posteriorly. If I raise my arm out from my shoulder, out to the side, that's lateral movement. And if I bring it in closer to my body, that's medial. So these are all the terms you need to know so this applies to all joints in your body except for the knee, because for the knee it will be inverted around, because flexion is posterior. Because imagine you're standing up and then you're bending your knee backwards, so and then you're trying to touch the heel of your foot, or like for example your right hand touching the heel of your right foot, then that's flexion. Extension is when you bring the knee down, and that's anterior. So it's kind of like the opposite, the other way around for knee, right? So let's talk about the biceps brachii. So basically the biceps brachii means arm, and biceps means two seps mean head. So based on the name biceps brachii, you know that this muscle has two heads and it's located in the arm. So right, let's see, this is the clavicle. So here's going to be your clavicle. This thing at the back here is going to be your scapula. Okay, I'm just trying and imagine it. And then this right here is going to be your humerus. Let's just imagine it like that. This is going to be the radius and your ulna. Right, so the biceps brachii, you've got two different things. Okay, so two heads basically. These two heads will fuse with each other like that. Okay, so what I'm shading right now is going to be the muscle. So as you can see, the origin of the muscles have two heads, right? And this is the origin is located in the scapula, so the bone at the back of your shoulder blade. So it's at the pectoral. Yep. So it's in your shoulder, the back, right? This is the origin. This is your humerus, radius ulna. This is your lateral head and medial head, right? Lateral. obviously, because it's further away, and this is your medial head. That's why it's got two heads. That's why it's called biceps. And insertion is going to be in the radial tuberosity. All right, tuberosity is essentially a place where muscles are attached to bones. You know. And then this is the biceps brachii. Biceps brachii is responsible. So when you contract your biceps, what happens is that you're flexing your elbow. So that your shoulder, your elbow joint is flexed. So this is I'll be doing a table joint movement. All right, elbow flexion. Think about the shoulder, because the biceps originates from, so the two heads originate from your scapula. If you're concentrically contracting it, then you're bringing your arm up, so that's flexion again. So your joint will be flexion. Right, so we've got your elbow, your shoulder, now your radial ulna. So you do know that the radius and the ulna crosses over. When you supinate your arm and when you pronate your arm, nothing happens. Right? So the radial ulnar joint, the biceps brachii will cause supinations. So it will contract and its radius will flip over, crosses over with the ulna. So this is your biceps brachii. Now we'll do the triceps brachii. So triceps is, so this is biceps is anterior. Anterior means it's the front, right? This is the anterior muscle. We'll be now looking at the posterior muscle of your shoulder, girdle. And this is going to be your triceps brachii. Right, triceps means 3 heads. So what happens is that you will basically have, it looks on the thing, what my diagram will look like is it will look like it'll have 2 heads, but in reality it will have 3 heads, and I'll show you in just a minute. This is still a humerus. This is your ulna, and this is your radius, right? First one's attached from here, and it goes all the way down to around somewhere here. So just draw that right here. Head here. And you've got one here. And basically another one here. Right. And then you've got the guy in the middle. I know the shading is not going to do it justice, but basically this is the long head. Right. This is the lateral head, yeah. And then there's something in the middle here as well. So there are 3 heads in total, medial head. So this will go down like this. Basically, origin of the long head. Origin is, it starts in the posterior scapula. Right. For the lateral head, the origin is the posterior humerus. So your arm bone. Right. And the insertion right here is what we call the olecranon of the elbow. So this is basically your elbow. Insertions at the elbow. Olecranon of process of ulna. So it's attached to the ulna, basically. Sorry if I confused you, but it's not attached to the radius. Olecranon process of ulna, which is otherwise known as the elbow. This is your biceps brachii. Do another joint movement. table. You see now. So we'll start off, we've got shoulder, elbow. Right, so these are the two joints of effect. For shoulder, of course, we've got extension, because it's at the back and it's contracting concentrically, then you're extending your arm backwards. And same for elbow as well, extension. So these are the easy ones. Now you've got the deltoid. So deltoid is superior to the biceps and the triceps because it's more up. So this will be kind of like a bird's eye view of what it would look like. So imagine this, right? So this is obviously here. There we go. Now imagine that. This right here is your clavicle, scapula, deltoid. This is your humerus, of course. Origin of the deltoid is in both the scapula and the clavicle. But the insertion is in the deltoid tuberosity. There we go, deltoid tuberosity, joint, movement. So now this one will also affect the same thing. So shoulder. Shoulder. The joint is at the shoulder, right? Because obviously this is where your shoulder is. And so you've got different types of fibers. So it's not, the deltoid muscle is not divided into heads, but rather you've got different fibers because it's forming a singular point of contact here with your bone and here as well, but you've got different fibers running along. So imagine your scapula kind of wraps around your between your humerus and your clavicle and scapula, so it wraps around. So for shoulder movement, if you're talking about flexion, so this is a fiber involved, so we'll have to add another column here for the deltoid. So for flexion, for extension, and for abduction, right, you've got these are the different things you need to know. For flexion, since flexion is when you're bringing it anteriorly, you've got your anterior fibers. Extension is when you bring it backwards, so posterior fibers will be involved. And abduction. Abduction is when you're bringing it closer to your body. As for the deltoid, then your lateral fibers will be involved because you're bringing it closer to your body. Actually, just give me a second.